Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you stand for? What do you stand for? Again, I ask, what do you stand for? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood for truth. He stood for knowledge, and he stood for unconditional love. This was evident each time he spoke out against the disenfranchisement of an entire race of people, discriminatory practices in employment, housing, and schools. His courageous stance led to greater social and economic mobility for minorities across the nation, and above all, legislation that removed discriminatory barriers in voting and other aspects of life. Dr. King's knowledge of dignity as an inherent right of all mankind, one that could not be taken away or earned, led him to demonstrate for us how to maintain our dignity in the most degrading of situations. It led him to advise us to be the best at whatever God called us to be, in spite of the many obstacles that we face. In fact, Dr. King shared with us a guiding principle during his speech in Philadelphia titled, "Blueprint of Your Life." He advised us to be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice, and along the way, not to allow anyone to pull you so low as to make you hate them. This nugget of wisdom continues to be relevant today, as we live in a society where our civil rights are challenged daily, in our communities, in our schools, and on our jobs. These challenges cause us to act contrary to what Dr. King exemplified through peaceful protest and words that upheld even the dignity of those who offended. The U.S. Census tells us that for the first time in our nation, in the year 2043, the minority will be the majority. We have grown from the 1960s of being only 10% of the population to now 37%, and by the year 2060, 57% of the population. So don't waste time fighting a physical fight against the daily injustices that still exist. We should be positioning ourselves to secure our civil rights in a more intellectually competitive way. For, as facts read, the economic and demographic trajectories of this time have now set forth the conditions for an array of political possibilities that will require leaders to stand. So I dare ask you, are you standing? Standing for truth, knowledge, and love as you stand on the shoulders of those like Dr. King, who shouldered the responsibility of speaking the truth to a lying nation, confident with walking in the ignorance perpetuated by the hate and fear of one day having to acknowledge the knowledge birthed from an entire generation of people who understood the power of love to cast out hate. I petition you that as we turn the corner from 2018 to 2019, reflect. Reflect on the legacy that you will leave behind as you embrace the idea of standing in your truth, so as to penetrate the hearts and minds of people for generations to come. Reflect on the life of Dr. King in this day and time, when progress is so blatantly stifled by a generation so mesmerized by the here and now that the past is but a faded picture and the future a lifetime away that may never come. Reflect, so that as you might hear the words of Dr. King ministering to our present truth. Doors are opening to each of you. Doors of opportunities that were never open to your mothers and your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to enter those doors as they open. Are you ready? Are you standing? And what? Oh, what are you standing for? Thank you.